Hello everyone, welcome to Point Categories featuring Luo Connecting Collateral Points, presented by Lamp AccuWellness Foundation Inc. Overview. The most common understanding of the collateral vessels describes a mechanism for facilitating connections between the regular yin and yang channels. However, another use of the term collateral, luo, in the inner classic involves the smaller, sometimes visible vessels closer to the surface of the body. The surface vessels, now often associated with the visible blood capillaries that can be seen on the skin, have also been known as collaterals throughout the history of Chinese medicine. While the regular channels connect to each other deep in the body, there are also aspects of the channel system which must come up to the surface. This superficial aspect is also often associated with the term collateral. Because these collaterals are often found at the surface of the body, the vessels are often mentioned as being places where the removal of a few drops of blood can be beneficial in cases of stasis. In addition, the collateral vessels have been traditionally thought to run perpendicular or across to the pathways of the regular channels. In fact, the very term used to describe the channels in Chinese, Jingluo, contains both the character for the main channels and the character for the collaterals. For this reason, one sometimes sees this two-character term translated as warp and woof, an allusion to the crossing threads seen on a weaver's loom. While the channels are the pathways from the head and trunk to the appendages, the collaterals represent a crisscrossing of microcirculation which completes the web. The channels are relatively deep to the surface. The crossing collaterals are thought to be more shallow. The collaterals are also branches from the main channels, in the same way that the branches of a tree come up and out from the trunk. To extend the metaphor of the tree, the collaterals themselves are also thought to divide into branch collaterals, zhi, lo, and ever smaller minute collaterals. To be more specific, the aspect of the collaterals which comes up to the surface of the skin but is not visible is traditionally described with the term floating collaterals. By contrast, the collaterals which can be seen, tiny visible capillaries, are termed blood collaterals. Collateral vessels are thus found all over the body. In fact, the presence of tender or ashi points on the body away from the major acupuncture points can be understood by considering the innumerable branches of the collaterals which spread to areas all around the regular channels. When discussing the collaterals, many sources say that there are 15 major collaterals. It is the major collaterals that are described in modern textbooks as facilitating connection of paired yin and yang channels. For example, the collateral vessel which leaves the lung channel at the collateral point, lung 7, Lie Che, is described as traveling to the yin-yang paired large intestine channel. In addition to the collaterals that connect the paired yin and yang regular channels to each other, the Ren and Du vessels also have collaterals. Completing the group of 15 major collaterals is a secondary collateral of the spleen channel, which is called the great collateral of the spleen. As might be surmised from the broad nature of these vessels, the important exterior-interior connection function of the collateral vessels is only part of the picture. When the collateral points are used in the clinic, the practitioner is also often thinking about the small vessel circulation implied by the original Chinese term. Collaterals, by their very nature, are also working at the level of microcirculation. In fact, the ability of the collateral points to facilitate connection between yin and yang channels draws from the fact that these points are thought to be influencing circulation at the places of intersection, where microcirculation of one channel meets the microcirculation of another nearby channel. The student should resist the temptation to make an absolute association of the concept of collateral vessels with the modern understanding of capillary circulation. The concepts are obviously similar and must necessarily overlap. However, within the context of classical channel theory, the collaterals are thought of as branches of the regular channels, Qing. As previously noted, the concept of the channels is larger than that of blood vessel circulation. The channels are integrated regions of flow within the connective tissues of the body. They integrate groups of blood vessels, nerves, and muscles into areas with common effects on the larger physiology of the body. When taken together, the groups of structures are said to be within the influence of each channel, also have effects far away on specific organs or other larger functions of the body. Conversely, the internal organs affect the far-away channel pathways. The collateral vessels represent the smaller and smaller, ever-dividing branches of the channel system. The capillary system of modern physiology is one part of this idea, but is not equivalent to the traditional concept of collateral vessels. There are 16 connecting channels, one for each of the 12 main channels, one each for the directing and governing vessels, the Ren and Tumai, one great connecting channel for the spleen, and one great connecting channel for the stomach. However, there are only 15 connecting points, as no mention is made of a connecting point for the great connecting channel of the stomach. The pathways of the connecting channels in broad lines are as follows. Lung connecting channel from lung 7, Liye to the thinner eminence. Large intestine connecting channel from Li6, Pyeonli to the teeth and ears. Stomach connecting channel from stomach 40, Funglung to the neck. Kongsung. Kungsun. Heart connecting channel from heart 5, Tung Li to the tongue and eyes. Small intestine connecting channel from small intestine 7, Qi Chung to the shoulder. Bladder connecting channel from bladder 58, Fei Yang to the kidney channel on the leg. Kidney connecting channel from kidney 4, Ta Chung to the pericardium. Pericardium connecting channel from pericardium 7, Ta Ling to the heart. Triple burner or Sanjiao channel connecting channel from Sanjiao 5, Wai Quan to the pericardium in the chest. Gallbladder connecting channel from gallbladder 37, Quang Ming to dorsum of foot. Liver connecting channel from liver 5, Li Ko to the external genitalia. Governing vessel connecting channel from 2-1 Chang Chiang to the spine and occiput. Directing vessel connecting channel from Ren 15 Chiu Wei to the abdomen. Great connecting channel of the spleen, from spleen 21 Ta Pao to the chest and ribs. Each of the 12 connecting channels related to the main channels departs from its relevant connecting point and branches out, traveling upwards along a separate trajectory. There are three ways of using the connecting points. The connecting point can be used in conjunction with the source point of its interiorly-exteriorly related channel. It can be used on its own, according to the symptomatology of the connecting channels themselves, or it can be used to affect the area influenced by the connecting channel. Before discussing these three ways of using the connecting points, we must briefly describe the nature and characteristics of the connecting channels themselves. When we say connecting channel, we can refer to two separate entities. One is the connecting channel itself, which departs from the connecting point and travels upwards in the pathways briefly described earlier. The other is the whole area of the body that lies between the main channel and the skin. In the latter case, the connecting channel would be more appropriately described as the connecting channel's area, because it does not denote an actual channel, but a whole part of the body that is irrigated by the connecting channels. The connecting channel is the pathway of qi departing from each connecting point. The connecting channel's area is the area of the body crisscrossed by the connecting channels between the main channels and the skin. The connecting channels are called Luo Mai. Luo implies the meaning of network. The main channels are called Qing Mai, and Qing implies the meaning of line, route, or way. Chapter 17 of the Spiritual Axis confirms that the connecting channels are horizontal or crosswise. The main channels are in the interior. Their branches are horizontal or crosswise, forming the connecting channels. The connecting channels are more superficial than the main channels, and they run in all directions, horizontally rather than vertically, like a net. In particular, they fill the space between skin and muscles, that is, the coolie space. The 12 main channels are situated between the Yang and Yin connecting channels. It is through the Yin and Yang connecting channels that nutritive and defensive qi and blood of the main channels spread in all directions, permeate and irrigate the internal organs. It is also through the connecting channels that the essence of the internal organs is transported to the main channels, and through them to the whole body. The connecting channels cannot penetrate the big joints of the body as the main channels do, and they are therefore restricted to the spaces in between the deep pathway of the main channels and the surface of the body. For this reason, they are very prone to stagnation of qi and or blood. Chapter 10 of the Spiritual Axis says, the connecting channels cannot course through the large joints. In order to enter and exit, they must move by alternate routes. They then enter and come together again under the skin, and therefore they can be seen from the outside. To needle the connecting channel, one must needle above the accumulation where blood is concentrated. Even if there is no blood accumulation, one must prick to cause bleeding quickly to drain the pathogenic factors out. If this is not done, P syndrome may develop. Thus, the connecting channels occupy the space between the main channels and the skin. However, within this space, there are also degrees of depth. On the superficial layers just below the skin, there are smaller connecting channels called minute and superficial connecting channels. The main branches of the connecting channels are called B, divergent. This is the same word as that used for divergent channels. The minute connecting channels are called Sun, while the superficial ones are called Fu. Chapter 17 of the Spiritual Axis says, the main channels are in the interior. Their branches and horizontal or crosswise forming the connecting channels. Branching out from this are the minute connecting channels. Chapter 10 of the Spiritual Axis says, the more superficial branches of the channels which can be seen are the connecting channels. However, the connecting channels also have a deeper layer beyond the main channels. These can be called the deep connecting channels, and they are connected to the blood vessels and blood in general. One can distinguish 3 layers in the channel network related to Wei, Qi, and blood. These 3 levels could be related to the 4 levels of defensive Qi, Qi, nutritive Qi, and blood. The actions of the Luo connecting points may be summarized as treating disorders of their interiorly-exteriorly related channel or Zhangfu, treating disorders in regions reached by the Luo connecting channel, and treating psycho-emotional disorders. Thank you very much for your attention and see you in our next videos.